Welcome back to Antique Coins Information, the channel where history meets treasure. Today, we're diving deep into the world of classic U.S. coinage to uncover the top 5 most valuable and rare Lincoln wheat pennies, coins so elusive and prized that collectors would pay millions for them. From minting mysteries to tiny errors worth fortunes, these humble pennies hide astonishing value in their copper. So grab your magnifying glass and let's explore the rarest wheat cents in American numismatic history. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating history, mystery, and surprising worth of the United States of America 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. This is not just a coin, it is a silent witness to history, economics, and the lives of everyday Americans. The year 1939 was a turning point for the world. In the United States, the Great Depression was slowly loosening its grip, though many families were still struggling to rebuild their lives. Jobs were scarce, money was tight, and every cent truly mattered. Across the ocean, global tensions were rising rapidly, and the shadow of a Second World War was beginning to fall over nations. Against this dramatic backdrop, the United States Mint continued its essential task of producing everyday coinage for commerce, including the iconic Lincoln wheat penny. The Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny design had already been in circulation for 30 years by 1939. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first regularly circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse proudly displays Lincoln's dignified profile, a symbol of unity, honesty, and perseverance. On the reverse, 2 simple wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, representing prosperity and the nation's agricultural roots. Now let's focus on what makes the 1939 penny especially intriguing: the absence of a mint mark. When a Lincoln penny from this era has no mint mark, it means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia was the primary mint facility at the time and produced the majority of U.S. coinage. Millions upon millions of pennies rolled out of its presses in 1939, destined for pockets, cash registers, and piggy banks across the country. Because of this large production, many people assume these coins are common and insignificant. But that assumption could not be further from the truth. The real value of a 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny depends on much more than just its date. Condition plays a massive role. Most pennies from this era were heavily circulated, exposed to moisture, dirt, and constant handling. As a result, finding one today that still retains sharp details, strong lettering, and original luster is surprisingly difficult. Over time, collectors have learned that the difference between an average circulated example and a pristine, well-preserved coin can be staggering. Another factor that adds intrigue is the quality of the strike. During the late 1930s, the mint was producing coins at a rapid pace, and quality control was not always perfect. Some pennies were weakly struck, with soft details on Lincoln's hair or the wheat stalks on the reverse. Others, however, were struck with exceptional clarity. Coins with bold, crisp details stand out dramatically to collectors and can command significant premiums. Metal composition also matters. The 1939 Lincoln wheat penny is made primarily of copper, with a small percentage of tin and zinc. This classic bronze composition gives the coin its warm reddish-brown tone when well preserved. Collectors often classify these pennies by color, ranging from brown to red-brown to full red. A full red example that has never lost its original mint color is exceptionally rare for this date, and is one of the key reasons certain specimens reach astonishing values. Beyond condition and color, there is the emotional pull of history. When collectors hold a 1939 penny, they are holding a tangible piece of pre-World War II America. This coin may have been used to buy a loaf of bread, a newspaper, or a cup of coffee during a time when every small purchase carried weight. It may have passed through the hands of someone who later served in the war, worked in a factory, or supported a family through uncertain times. That connection to real human stories gives the coin a depth that goes far beyond metal and numbers. Collectors today are constantly searching for standout examples of the 1939 no-mint mark penny. Professional grading services evaluate these coins under strict standards, examining surface preservation, strike quality, luster, and eye appeal. When a coin achieves a top-tier grade, it enters an entirely different league. At that level, competition among collectors becomes fierce. Serious numismatists, investors, and history enthusiasts all want the finest known examples, and they are willing to pay extraordinary amounts to secure them. It is also important to understand that the market for rare coins is driven by both scarcity and demand. While millions of 1939 pennies were originally minted, only a tiny fraction survive today in exceptional condition. As years pass, coins are lost, damaged, or permanently altered. This shrinking supply, combined with growing interest in classic American coinage, continues to push values higher for the best specimens. For those who are new to coin collecting, the 1939 Lincoln Wheat penny serves as a powerful lesson. Never underestimate the potential value of an old coin simply because it looks ordinary at first glance. Many incredible discoveries have been made in old jars, inherited collections, and even pocket change. A careful eye, a bit of knowledge, and proper evaluation can reveal treasures hiding in plain sight. The story of this penny is also a reminder of why coin collecting remains such a popular and rewarding hobby. It blends history, art, economics, and the thrill of the hunt. Each coin tells a story, and some stories are far more valuable than anyone could imagine. The 1939 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny is a perfect example of how a small object can carry enormous significance. As you reflect on this remarkable coin, consider what it represents. It symbolizes resilience during hard times, continuity during a changing world, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln's image on American money. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just beginning to explore the world of numismatics, this penny stands as a reminder that history often hides in the smallest details. And when the finest known example of this historic coin appears on the market, its value has been known to reach an astonishing figure of $55,888. Imagine holding a small copper coin between your fingers, its surface worn smooth by decades of circulation, yet carrying within it a silent story of American resilience, wartime industry, and hidden value. Today's journey takes us back to the year 1940, a time when the United States stood on the edge of monumental change, and focuses on one of the most quietly fascinating coins ever produced, the United States of America 1940s mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. To truly appreciate this penny, we must first step into the world in which it was born. The year 1940 was a tense and uncertain moment in American history. Europe was already engulfed in war, and although the United States had not yet entered the conflict, the economy and industry were shifting rapidly. Factories were gearing up for production, metal resources were becoming more important than ever, and everyday objects like coins reflected the careful balance between practicality and national identity. The Lincoln Wheat penny, introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, had already become a familiar companion in American pockets by this time. The 1940s wheat penny was struck at the San Francisco Mint, a facility with a long and respected history of producing coins for the western United States. The small S mint mark beneath the date may seem insignificant at first glance, but to collectors, it is one of the most important details on the coin. It tells us where the penny was made and often gives clues about its rarity, strike quality, and overall desirability. Coins from the San Francisco Mint during this era were known for having slightly lower mintages compared to Philadelphia, which naturally adds an element of intrigue and scarcity. On the front of the coin, Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile faces to the right, designed by Victor David Brenner. By 1940, this portrait had already become an American icon. The expression is calm and dignified, reflecting Lincoln's enduring legacy as a symbol of unity and perseverance. Above his head runs the simple word liberty, while the national motto appears nearby, reminding every holder of the values the country aspired to uphold, even during uncertain times. Turning the coin over reveals the classic wheat ears design, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. These wheat stalks represent prosperity, agriculture, and the hard-working spirit of the nation. For many Americans during the 1940s, agriculture was still a central part of life, and this design resonated deeply with the public. The wheat penny design would continue until 1958, making the 1940s an important mid-era example of this beloved style. Now, let's talk about what truly makes this penny so fascinating to collectors and enthusiasts alike: its value and worth. While millions of pennies were produced in 1940, not all survived in the same condition. Most circulated heavily, passed from hand to hand through grocery stores, diners, gas stations, and pay envelopes. Over time, scratches, wear, discoloration, and damage reduced their appeal. However, a small number were preserved in exceptional condition, sometimes set aside intentionally by collectors, and other times forgotten in jars, drawers, or old albums. The condition of a 1940s wheat penny plays a massive role in determining its worth. Coins that show heavy wear, with flattened details and faded lettering, are typically considered common. But when you find one with sharp details, strong original luster, and minimal marks, you are stepping into a completely different category. Collectors use grading systems to evaluate coins, examining everything from the sharpness of Lincoln's hair and coat to the clarity of the wheat stalks on the reverse. Strike quality is another important factor. The San Francisco Mint sometimes produced coins with softer strikes, meaning certain details might not appear as crisp. A well-struck 1940s penny, with full detail visible on both sides, is far more desirable. Color also matters. Original copper pennies can range from deep brown to rich red, and coins that retain more of their original reddish tone are especially prized. There is also the thrill of errors and variations. Throughout history, minting errors have occurred, creating coins that are slightly off-center, double-struck, or showing unusual features. While not every 1940s wheat penny has an error, the possibility adds excitement for collectors who carefully inspect each coin. Discovering something unusual can turn an ordinary penny into a remarkable find. Beyond technical details, there is an emotional and historical value attached to this coin. Think about the hands it may have passed through during the early 1940s. Perhaps it was used by a factory worker buying lunch during a long shift, or dropped into a collection box during wartime fundraising efforts. Each coin is a tiny witness to history, connecting us directly to the past in a way few objects can. In today's collecting world, the 1940s Lincoln wheat penny holds a special place. It is old enough to feel historic, yet not so ancient that examples are impossible to find. This balance makes it appealing to both beginner collectors and seasoned numismatists. Beginners enjoy the thrill of searching through old coins, hoping to spot that small S mint mark, while advanced collectors focus on finding the highest quality examples for their collections. The market for rare coins has grown significantly over the years, driven by increased interest, online auctions, and greater access to information. Coins that were once overlooked are now carefully studied, graded, and traded. The 1940s wheat penny benefits from this attention, as collectors recognize its combination of historical importance, mint mark appeal, and potential rarity in top condition. Another factor influencing its worth is authenticity and preservation. Coins that have been cleaned improperly can lose value, even if they appear shiny. Experienced collectors prefer coins with natural surfaces, showing honest aging rather than artificial brightness. This is why professional grading and certification have become so important. A certified coin gives buyers confidence in its authenticity and condition, which can significantly impact its market desirability. For many people, the fascination with this penny begins as curiosity and grows into passion. What starts as a simple coin found in a jar can lead to hours of research, learning about minting processes, historical events, and the art of coin design. The 1940s wheat penny often serves as a gateway into the wider world of American numismatics, opening doors to other rare and valuable coins from the same era. As you consider the 1940s Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny, remember that its true worth is more than just metal. It represents a moment in time, a piece of national heritage, and a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry extraordinary stories. Whether you are a collector, an investor, or simply someone who appreciates history, this penny stands as a testament to the enduring legacy of American coinage. And for those fortunate enough to encounter an exceptional example of this remarkable coin, its value has reached an astonishing level, with top specimens commanding as much as $47,266. The history of American coins is filled with small copper treasures that quietly pass through hands every day, yet some carry stories and value far beyond their face worth. Among these, the Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and history lovers alike. Today's story focuses on a particular year and mint that has fascinated coin enthusiasts for decades: the United States of America 1951 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. This humble coin may look ordinary at first glance, but its journey through time, its craftsmanship, and its potential worth make it anything but ordinary. To understand why the 1951 D wheat penny matters, we must first step back into post-World War II America. The nation was rebuilding, industries were booming, and everyday objects were being produced in massive numbers to meet the needs of a growing population. Coins were no exception. The Denver Mint worked tirelessly to strike millions of pennies for circulation, ensuring that commerce could flow smoothly from small town shops to big city markets. Yet even within such large production runs, subtle variations and conditions emerged that would later transform some of these pennies into collector favorites. The Lincoln wheat penny design itself is iconic. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it was the first circulating United States coin to feature a real person. Victor David Brenner's portrait of Lincoln on the front captures strength, humility, and resolve. By 1951, this design had already been in use for over 4 decades, making it a familiar sight in pockets and purses across the nation. On the reverse, the 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America symbolize prosperity, agriculture, and growth, themes that resonated strongly in a nation recovering from war. The 1951 D Mint mark indicates that this penny was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small letter D located just below the date on the front of the coin. Denver Mint pennies are particularly interesting to collectors because of their generally strong strikes and consistent quality during this era. However, not every coin left the mint in perfect condition. Over time, circulation wear, handling, and environmental factors affected many examples, making high-quality survivors increasingly scarce. One of the most important factors in determining the value of a 1951 D wheat penny is its condition. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from heavily worn to nearly flawless. A penny that spent decades in circulation may show smooth surfaces, faded details, and a darker color from years of use. While such coins still hold historical charm, their value is usually modest. On the other hand, pennies that were carefully saved, perhaps tucked away in a jar or coin album, can retain sharp details, original luster, and clean surfaces. These well-preserved examples are the ones that truly capture the attention of serious collectors. Another element that adds intrigue to the 1951 D wheat penny is the possibility of subtle minting characteristics. During the coin striking process, dies were used repeatedly, and over time they could wear down or develop minor flaws. This sometimes resulted in slight variations that collectors love to study. While major errors are rare for this particular year, even small differences in strike strength or surface quality can influence desirability. The thrill of examining a coin closely, searching for these details, is part of what makes coin collecting such a rewarding hobby. The metal composition of the 1951 wheat penny also plays a role in its appeal. Made primarily of copper, with a small amount of tin and zinc, these pennies have a warm reddish tone when well preserved. Copper coins from this era often develop rich patinas over time, ranging from deep brown to glowing red hues. Collectors often favor coins with original color and minimal discoloration, as these features suggest careful storage and limited exposure to harsh conditions. Beyond technical details, there is also an emotional and historical connection tied to this penny. Imagine the hands that once held it, a shopkeeper making change, a child saving allowance, or a worker paying for a cup of coffee during the early 1950s. Each coin carries silent stories of everyday American life. For many collectors, owning a 1951 D wheat penny is like holding a small piece of that era, a tangible link to the past. As interest in vintage coins has grown, so has awareness of their potential worth. Collectors around the world now search through old collections, estate finds, and inherited coin jars hoping to uncover hidden gems. The 1951 Dewey penny is often overlooked by beginners, who may assume that only much older coins can be valuable. However, experienced collectors know that condition, rarity in top grades, and market demand can elevate even mid-20th century coins into highly desirable pieces. Proper care is essential for anyone fortunate enough to own a well-preserved example. Coins should never be cleaned with harsh chemicals or abrasive materials, as this can permanently damage surfaces and significantly reduce value. Instead, they should be stored in protective holders or albums designed specifically for coins. Keeping them in a stable environment, away from moisture and extreme temperatures, helps preserve their condition for future generations. The market for Lincoln wheat pennies remains strong because of their broad appeal. They attract not only serious numismatists but also casual collectors and history enthusiasts. The familiar design, combined with the challenge of finding high-quality examples, keeps demand steady. Over time, as more coins are lost, damaged, or permanently altered, the number of pristine survivors continues to shrink. This gradual reduction in supply adds to the long-term allure of exceptional specimens. When discussing worth, it is important to remember that not every 1951 Dewey penny will command a premium. Most circulated examples are affordable and valued mainly for their historical interest. However, coins that stand out due to exceptional preservation, eye appeal, and originality can reach impressive levels in the collector market. These are the coins that spark excitement at auctions and inspire collectors to keep searching. For anyone interested in starting or expanding a coin collection, the 1951 D Lincoln wheat penny serves as a wonderful example of how history, artistry, and value intersect. It teaches patience, attention to detail, and respect for the past. Whether discovered in an old family collection or acquired through careful searching, this penny reminds us that even the smallest denominations can carry significant meaning. As we reflect on the journey of this coin, from the busy presses of the Denver Mint to the hands of collectors decades later, one thing becomes clear: its story is far richer than its simple appearance suggests. It stands as a testament to American craftsmanship, resilience, and the enduring fascination with numismatic treasures. And for those lucky enough to own an outstanding example, the potential worth can be truly remarkable, reaching as high as $36,736.